What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Fantasy Pros. This is Leading Off Live. I'm your host, Joe Orrico, joined for part 2 with KC Bubba on the season. We are going to be bringing you some headlines, some injury updates, player news and notes, everything on the fantasy baseball docket today. Bubba, great to be back with you, my friend. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Always a pleasure to chat some ball with you, buddy. It'll be good. It's a Friday, so we'll get it in, get it out, and hopefully enjoy the weekend.
We are going to wrap up the week in style. We got a lot of fun headlines on the docket today. And with Joe Pisapia gone, I've decided to talk about Michael Harris II. He's on the gridiron screaming at me. I can hear him through the headset. But Michael Harris, pretty much since Joe has left, maybe a little bit before, has completely turned his season around. Went 3 for 4 yesterday. He's now 40 for his last 105 over the last month, which is a 381 batting average, 18 runs, 7 homers, a couple of steals, 6 consecutive multi-hit games, just in time for us to be suckered back into buying him next year, Bubba. I don't know what to do with Michael Harris. Like, he was a second, third round pick in a lot of rooms this year. I have no idea what the price is going to be. What are your thoughts on Harris overall? Should we trust him going forward in 2025? And will you buy back in 2026?
I've just started doing I'm not drafting Michael Harris campaign the last few years because of the annoyances that he brings to the table. But this is the second straight year where he's kind of picked it up in the second half. It's not even kind of this year. He's torching the second half of the season. My co-host on Bubba and Bloom, Ryan Bloomfield, loves Michael Harris. It's always a back and forth that we have on that show. And I actually had to be quiet for once because of what Michael Harris is doing. It's quite annoying. So, yeah, I'm really curious. Next Wednesday, we do our too early draft on Wednesday night. And I'm really curious to see where Michael Harris goes. It feels like he's kind of, you mentioned he's been like a third round pick. It feels like enough people have been burned by him where he falls to like maybe round 6 or 7. And that seems like that's worth the conversation. So I'm really curious to see where things drop on Wednesday.
It looks like he's going to probably, if he continues at this pace, we might still get a 2020 season. The batting average is up to 250. So if he ends up with a 2020 season hitting 275 or something, we're going to look back and not even really realize that he was a bust at the end of the day. He's still going to fall short of the draft capital that you used on him. But what a turnaround Michael Harris has had over there in Atlanta. And speaking of turnarounds, let's talk Julio Rodriguez. He homered on Thursday against the Orioles. Over the last month, 10 homers and 7 stolen bases while hitting 283. And this has become something every single year with Julio that we can expect. The first half is not usually awful, but the second half is where he just explodes. A 180 career WRC plus in August, and WRC plus by half, it's 109 in the first half, 152 in the second half. Should we just be buying low on Julio Rodriguez every single year if you're in trading leagues? I don't even know what to do with him at this point, because it does feel like this is a part of his player makeup, that he slumps to start the year. The second half is always very good, but is this something that we can expect to continue, you think, or is it just random over the first couple of years of his career?
I like to see what a full season looks like. Let's put it that way. But he's 24 years old. He's played 4 major league seasons. He's had a 2020 year in every season. This is who he is, it seems like. But I think we still haven't seen the ceiling, to my point of the start of this conversation. I love the skill set of Julio. It doesn't help with the ballpark he's in. The team around him is better this year. So he's always going to have some things working against him. He always gets banged up. It feels like an ankle or something as well. But in the end, it's like, I remember early in the season when he struggled, you probably got the same questions like, what do I do with J-Rod? What do I do? What do I do? And I say, look at the back of the baseball card. He's one of those guys you can trust to get there where, Michael Harris, you never know when that's going to drop. J-Rod's just a beast. He's probably going to finish this year 30-30 again. Like, the dude's really, really good. And you just kind of trust it in my mind.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. Like you said, the ballpark isn't my favorite, and some of the underlying numbers over the last couple of years, like barrel rate, hard hit rates, haven't been trending in the right directions. But like you said, every year you're still getting 25, 25, 30, 30. And at his age, we still probably haven't even seen his prime yet. So I think we're going to have to keep drafting him and just dealing with those first couple months of the season. If you're in a head-to-head league and you got head-to-head playoffs where he always is popping, I'm sure it's not the biggest concern for you, because he's probably won a couple championships over the last couple of Septembers. Let's talk about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Hit his 20th home run of the season. He's now slashing 300 batting average, 397 on base, and a 496 slug with 81 runs, 67 ribbies, and 5 stolen bases. This question was framed around Vlad, but I'll frame it around both Vlad and Julio. Are they back into the first round in 2026 drafts? There's been, like we mentioned with Julio, some struggles. Vladdy's got off a little bit cold. Are they both first rounders for you in 2026?
Potentially back end. The first round's going to be very packed this year. There's a lot of guys that are making cases to move into it. So a J-Rod who's still 30 and very good makes an argument like maybe he should be taking over Kyle Tucker, let's say, in those arguments. Where Vladdy's still very, very good. The lack of power, and we know he can tap into it at any given moment, he just doesn't enough. I think that pushes him in round 2. That's the only difference between the two. But I think I wouldn't be shocked if you'll see drafts come February where they're both in the back end of round 1.
Yeah, I mean, that could be an interesting kind of pairing at the end of the first round. You get the big power, well, the supposed big power with Vlad, where there's still the potential for 30, 35 homers, good batting average floor, and then Julio provides some more of the speed while still giving you power. I think we'll probably see that combination a couple times in drafts next season.
I'd like it.
I'm sorry, Bubba?
I'd like it.
Oh, yeah, I think if you can do that, you're doing pretty well. The thing with Vladdy that's always really appealing is that high batting average with the supposed good power. Because there will be years where Vladdy probably is in the 20s, but there will also probably be years where Vladdy hits 37, 38 homers. And if you're getting that with a 300 batting average, that's very, very hard to replicate as you go down the draft board. There was an old-fashioned pitching duel in Toronto on Thursday afternoon. This one was very fun to watch between Max Scherzer and Matthew Boyd. Fourth consecutive really good one for Scherzer, worked into the 8th inning while allowing just one run on 78 pitches, down to a 3.83 ERA and a 107 whip for the season as a whole. But over these last 4 starts, Scherzer has been phenomenal. What's your trust level on him? Is he a set it and forget it at this point for you, or is he somebody that you're still kind of picking and choosing your spots?
You set it and forget it as long as his thumb is fine and his back is fine because that's how Max has always been. That's how I've approached Max during draft season. It's like, he's going to go on the IL. Did you think it'd be this bad this year? Probably not. But you expect these situations to take place. But whenever he's been on the mound, he's a bulldog. He's going to give you everything he's got. He's showcased that he still has the skills, even last year in a small samples. So yeah, you set, you forget, and you hope he makes 5-6 more starts.
I'm wondering how the Blue Jays are going to shake up that playoff rotation. I'm assuming I shouldn't be counting my chickens before they're hatched, but I think the Blue Jays are probably
count.
I've been hurt. I've been hurt, Bubba. But I think that they're getting into the postseason. I wonder if it's Gausman in game 1, if it's Scherzer in game 1, if Shane Bieber comes back and looks brilliant for a month, maybe it's Shane Bieber.
It's got to be Scherzer, man. It's got to be Scherzer. The experience, the experience factor. Because Gausman, like, I love Gausman. I know you love Gausman. But the consistency and strikeouts, and you need a guy that's going to set the tone. It feels like in game 1, I think Scherzer sets the tone.
Yeah, I think as of today, it's probably Scherzer, Gausman. Bieber is kind of a wild card. Maybe he's that number 3. It's a good problem to have for the Blue Jays. It is definitely a problem I will take over some of the problems we've seen over the previous couple of years. But on the other side of that pitching duel was Matthew Boyd. Only thing that hit him was the Vladdy 2-run bomb. Other than that, struck out 5. Also, just 78 pitches through 7 innings for both of these starters. You really don't see that. But he has a 2.46 ERA and a 1.02 whip. Matthew Boyd, who was drafted by the Blue Jays a decade ago, traded for David Bryce, bounced around. I'm sure Alex Fast and Nick Pollock are smiling looking at what's happening here with Matthew Boyd. But what do we make of this going forward? Is he somebody that is just trustworthy now? Like going into next season, is somebody like you expect good results again? Or are we kind of just taking what we've got from him and not trying to push it too much maybe? Like, I don't know. At his age, I'm kind of thinking I'm going to tap out after this season on the Matthew Boyd shares.
Yeah, we're operating on borrowed time right now. He's at 142 and 2/3 inning. He hasn't thrown over 100 innings since 2019. Yeah. We know the injury history. It's awesome what he's doing. You ride it out till the legs fall off. But like you see guys like Michael King who had that big innings jump, and it's been ugly this season. And there's a handful of those type of pitchers. Maybe Boyd's different. I will be avoiding that next season.
I think I will too, just because this season is going to have people paying maybe not a top 100 price, but something in that ballpark. If he finishes up with a mid-2 ERA, a low 1 whip, I think that's going to get a little bit too expensive for me. But man, has he ever been fantastic this season. The other side of that has been Bailey Ober, who has not been fantastic this season, but he's made his way back. Hasn't been too bad in the last couple of starts. He went 5 1/3 against the Tigers yesterday, 3 runs on 4 hits while striking out 3. If you see him sitting in any shallow waiver wires, because I know I dropped him in a couple of leagues, would you be going out there and adding Bailey Ober, or do you think this is still kind of just a lost season for him?
It's still a lost season for me. Like, yeah, he went 5 1/3, still get up 3 runs. He only struck out 4. It's 3 straight games with 4 Ks. He doesn't have the strikeout stuff right now. He only has 86 Ks and 108 and a third innings this year. It's a ton of pitching to contact. It's not the guy we thought he was, and maybe he can figure things out in the offseason and tweak some things, but I know myself and many others had high expectations for him being like the 1B to Joe Ryan or 1C to Ryan and Pablo this year in that Twins rotation, and it has not happened at all for Bailey Ober, and he looks like a completely different arm from last year. And I don't know if he's still injured because we know he battled that hip injury early on, finally went on the IL, so on and so forth. But the way he's pitching, the lack of success, like swing and miss success and whatnot, is concerning for me.
I went all off season like you. I was interested in Bailey Ober. He was like SP2, SP3 on a bunch of teams. And then I did this show in the preseason with Eno and Nick. And I asked them both, who's the one pitcher you're fading in the top 100? And Eno, without hesitation, said Bailey Ober. And I probably should have listened a little more when Eno said that. He knows what he's talking about, Eno Cyrus, believe it or not, with the pitching stuff. Let's talk Jose Ramirez. Another massive game, 3 for 4 against the Marlins, 3 runs and 2 stolen bases. This is a 25-35 season for Jose for the second consecutive year, and it's the first 2 times he's done this in his career, 25 homers, 35 stolen bases at age 31 and 32. Is he a slam dunk Hall of Famer at this point, Jose Ramirez? Because I don't even know what the fantasy conversation to have anymore. I put him on the sheet because I wanted to talk about him because he's just so fantastic, but he's a clear first rounder, whether it's rest of season, heading into next year. I think he might get into Cooperstown at this point, though. What do you think, Bubba?
He should. He really should for a lot of reasons. I'm glad you put him on the sheet because outside of Cleveland, he probably doesn't get the love he deserves for what he does. Like, I know fantasy people appreciate him, but it's always 2020. You mentioned, like, we're probably getting another 30-30 coming up here. Nearly went 40-40 last year, but he also does this by hitting 280 to 290 every single season. He's usually good for 200 runs and RBIs plus every single season on usually a bad Cleveland Guardians offense. Like, he's doing things that most people don't do. He deserves all the love, and it would be crazy if he's not in the Hall of Fame. Like, first ballot, that's a whole nother conversation. I stay out of that political jargon, but like, he should be pretty quickly, all things considered. Dude, 32, which is nuts as well. He's not built like a speedster. I can say these things. So like, it's pretty impressive to watch what he does. And it's just consistent day in and day out, and he plays almost every day. He played hurt most of last season. Like, he's just a beast. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
And if it wasn't for that last game getting canceled or rained out or whatever, he might have gone 40-40. He went 39-41. I mean, the build thing is so interesting with him. As a third baseman, if you just looked at him, you think, yeah, he's probably okay, serviceable, whatever. 30 defensive runs saved in his career, 48 outs above average at third base, to go along with nearly 300 steals, nearly 300 homers. Yeah, I think it was a crazy question, honestly. He's at 57 career F4 at age 32. This should be a slam dunk Hall of Famer if the voters have their heads screwed on right, which isn't always the case. But I think Jose Ramirez will probably be somebody who does get a plaque in Cooperstown one day. This one, I don't know. I don't want to be an alarmist or whatever, but I do want to talk about Tarik Skubal because his last 4 starts, or actually his last 6 starts, haven't really been Tarik Skubal-esque. Yesterday, 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, only 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. Over his last 6 starts, a 3.72 ERA and a 3.41 FIP. Now, for most pitchers, this is not anything that I'd even think is even worth talking about. But for Tarik Skubal, little bit of a downturn. Any concern here? Do you think that he's maybe slowing down? Guy with a career, with some injury history in his career. Is there any concern here over the last couple months of the season?
I get where you're coming from. I'm still pretty optimistic on all things here, as long as the velo stays the same. As he's not going to dominate every time out, and that'll happen. Like, we're looking at Paul Skeens right now. His last 2 starts have been real rough for Paul Skeens standards. Then again, he's still pitching well. So it's late. It's August. The weather. There's a lot of factors in play right now. So I'm going to take it with a grain of salt now. If it continues a few more starts, let's get worried. Could have been the Scooby-Doo cleats he was wearing Thursday. Like, who knows? But yeah, I'm going to try to keep things optimistic. But it is definitely been a rough patch for Skubal standards.
Yeah, especially if you're using him in DFS or something, paying up, then you have not been happy with it. But I think that what's really interesting is the Cy Young conversation has probably gotten a little closer with him and Garrett Crochet. They both made 24 starts. They both pitched exactly 152 in the third innings, which is pretty phenomenal. And the ERA is separated by 0.06, 242 versus 248, Skubal and then Crochet. So I think this is potentially something that's really close over the final month or so, Skubal's got him beat in terms of strikeout rate, in terms of whip. So maybe this isn't as close as I'm making it out to be, but I think Eric Crochet could make it a conversation with 5 or 6 dominant starts in the last month of the year. I've kind of given up on my DeGrom Cy Young hopes. I don't think that's happening anymore.
It's been rough lately.
It's been a little bit rough lately, and he gets my Blue Jays tonight. So part of me hopes it continues to be a little bit rough for Jake on tonight's slate. One more name in the headlines. Brenton Doyle hit his 11th home run of the season, and I thought it was worth talking about just because he has also kind of turned his season around. Since June 26th, he's hitting .327, 6 homers, 3 steals, a 131 WRC plus. And one thing I think is worth noting is that Brenton Doyle, his wife suffered a miscarriage, a rather public miscarriage at the beginning of the season. And a lot of the time, we kind of just ignore the personal side. We see these guys as just stat accumulators and don't really think about their personal lives. But that's exactly the type of thing that would make you have a down few months. And it looks like Brenton Doyle gratefully is coming out of that on the good side, Bubba.
Yeah, I love it. I've gone through what Brenton Doyle and his wife are going through, so it's not ideal. So I can get where coming onto a big league field is not the best thing to do during certain occasions. But it's good to see, because one thing we've been pounding the drum on Doyle on the Bubba and the Bloom is all the underlying metrics mimic last season. He just wasn't getting the results. The BABIP was there, those kind of things. And we started seeing it creep up. You mentioned the last run he's been on. I picked him up in a couple leagues the last like three weeks or so where people gave up on him. I think we are going to get a good 6 weeks here from Brenton Doyle. And I kind of hope he doesn't, because it'd be nice to get some value come draft day. But he's trending in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, a guy who was a top 100 pick last year, who you'll probably be able to get at a little bit of a discount heading into next season. Let's take a couple of questions here. What do we do with Chase Burns? I don't think you can really do anything right now. If they actually put him into the bullpen, which I don't think there's been an official move made, if they do that, then maybe he's a drop. For now, I think you just got to roll with him, though, Bubba. What do you think?
Yeah, you're rolling now. They dropped the bomb on like Monday that, hey, we're going to limit his innings, but we don't know how. And now it's Friday. We still haven't heard how. He's actually supposed to. This is his day in the rotation, but Nick Martinez is getting the start on Friday. So we'll have to wait and see. Like, if he gets the Garrett Crochet treatment where it's go out and throw 3 innings and strike out 8, well, then you roll with it. If he gets to piggyback on Nick Martinez, even better. If he goes to the bullpen, we got issues. So we have to kind of wait and see. The Reds are a half game out of a wild card right now, so they want Chase Burns. Like, can you imagine that arm coming out in games in the postseason? That's a weapon, folks. So yeah, they want to keep him healthy and ready to roll.
Yeah, that rotation could potentially be very scary in a couple of years. That 3-headed monster, if Abbott even technically counts as the 3rd head, but Green and Burns, man, like that is a phenomenal 1-2. Potentially guys who could win Cy Youngs going forward, no question in my mind. Corey Seager, is he worth keeping in the 4th round? Depends on a couple of factors, but you don't think so, Bubba?
I've never Corey Seager. The dude, if he plays over 100 games, you've had a win with Corey Seager. He's done it a few times. I'm not going to say he hasn't, but he has to play, obviously, to get stats, and he doesn't do that very often. So, like, his skill set's more of a round 7 or 8 guy for me.
Okay.
I think
I'm a little bit. Yeah, that's totally fair. Like, I think I'm a little bit higher on him, but the 4th, I mean, if it's like a 15-team league, maybe. But yeah, I think most people are playing in 10s, 12s. I think I'm got to side with Bubba here. I don't think I could do it in the 4th. Ranger Suarez, do I drop him? His second half has been no bueno. The Phillies are going to be going to a 6-man rotation with Aaron Nola coming back. So they're not kicking him out or anything. But Bubba, would you be kicking him out of your rotations?
Depending on, like, 15 teams, no. 12 and less, he's a streamer now. So yeah, I could see play. I give Hurston Waldrop's out there. I'd rather give him a shot. Stuff like that. Go like Hurston Waldrop. He's like around 50-ish% owned off the top of my head, like NFBC. So Yahoo's, he's probably down to, like, I'll probably write about him this week for Fantasy Pros. He's so low owned. So yeah, there's worlds where you can stream Ranger Suarez.
Let's take 1 or 2 more. Andujar, Berger, or McMahon in 5x5 with hits instead of average. I feel like it's Andujar. That was my initial hit here. What do you think, Bubba?
Yeah, because Berger's a platoon, and that's happening even though people don't want to accept that. And it sucks because I love Jake Berger. We share a lot of similarities. Ryan McMahon's just not good at baseball. And Andujar is hitting cleanup. He'll be on the road this week, but that means he probably goes home the following week. Like, you roll with this while he's hitting cleanup on a very hot team in a very good ballpark.
I think I am with you. We'll get back to a couple of questions later on in the show, but we're going to give something away first. If you guys want a chance to win a Billy Wagner jersey, courtesy of our friends over at pristineauction.com, all you got to do is subscribe to the Fantasy Pros MLB YouTube channel right now. Drop a comment below on any video, and that's it. We'll be announcing the lucky winner right here on the channel. Turn on those notifications so you can know when new videos are up and to claim your prize. I've always been a fan of that blue and orange color scheme, and now you get a Hall of Fame signed jersey, Billy Wagner. Go and do that today. Leave your comments below. Let's talk about a couple of farewells. Carlos Carrasco, designated for assignment by the Braves. I think that he should just hang him up at this point. It's been rough for 3 years, at least, with Carrasco. It's easy to forget how good he was in the mid-2010s with Cleveland, but Carlos Carrasco DFA'd. And a really surprising one. Carrasco, not that surprising. Nathaniel Lau.
Yeah.
Maybe not super surprising, but the day after a grand slam, maybe he wasn't expecting to get cut from the team. Do you think he latches on anywhere? My first thought was maybe Boston with all their first base troubles.
Boston makes sense. In our Bubba and Loom Discord, they mentioned Abraham Toro's playing first base, so this is a good fit. And I saw a lot of Rangers people talking about Lowe, and he has 18 home runs on the year. That's third on the Rangers. Like the fact the Nationals, they kept Josh Bell over Nathaniel Lowe, and like I like Josh Bell. They're kind of like the Spider-Man gif, but
yes,
it was very surprising because Lowe's young. He still seems like there might be something. I guess it's just a weird move all around.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really expecting it. Not that he was somebody I was using. I actually saw a couple people talking about like maybe it's Josh Bell who gets cut. I've been starting Josh Bell in a couple of leagues. He hasn't been too bad the last couple of weeks in 15 teamers as a corner option. So I'm glad it wasn't him. But I think Nathaniel Lau probably does catch on somewhere to help somebody out over the last month of the season. Let's talk about Jacob Marcy, though. My word, Bubba, he has been unbelievable. 17 for 43. That's a 395 batting average with 8 runs, 3 homers, 13 ribbies, and 6 steals in just 14 games. Do you buy it? Do you buy that this is somebody who could be a legit fantasy asset, or is this just a hot streak to start the career, similarly to what we saw with Warming Bernabel a couple weeks ago?
It's a hot streak. He's better than Warming Bernabel. I'll vouch for that. But he's already got the 3 homers and 6 steals. He's a speed demon. He had 47 steals at AAA this year. He had 51 last season. So the speed, I don't deny. The plate skills match what we've seen before. He's more of a 260-ish hitter, though, and the power is not crazy. But you never know. He's also only 24 years old. So, like, we could see guys always take that jump. I think he's going to be very, very good. I think he's still more of a rabbit than anything. So don't get too excited there. But, hey, ride this while you can because it's a lot of fun. And it's always great when you can get a late-season fab pickup to kind of drive you home.
Yes, absolutely. You feel like most of the good pickups are gone, but then every now and then you get blessed with a Jacob Marcy. So you're drafting that team for next year, and that'll be a week or so
Wednesday
from now.
Wednesday night.
Where do you think Marcy ends up going? Do you think he's a top 150, 125? Like where off the top of your head, what do you think?
Yeah, because we do 11 rounds that night, and then we pick it up later. So that'd be about 165 picks. I don't think he gets drafted on Wednesday night. I don't think people are willing to buy that just yet. But, dude, all it takes is because we're drafting early now. If he has 6 more good weeks, when you and I start drafting a little later, that conversation could quickly change. So if I had to say right now, he's more of a like late hundreds, early 200s pick for me still. But a lot can change. Like Chandler Simpson will go ahead of him and stuff like that if you want the rabbit types.
And that's an interesting conversation. Like Simpson with
Better
no
average.
power, better batting average, no power. Marcy gives you a little bit of power. Worse lineup, much worse ballpark. I don't even know where the Rays are going to be playing next year if it's been announced, but I think nobody knows. Isaac Collins or Jacob Marcy rest of season. That's a tricky one. I might go like Collins because of the lineup.
Yeah, Isaac Collins. That Brewers team, like if I have any, I mentioned it last night, if I have any pitchers scheduled to face them, any pitchers, like I'm very scared. I don't care like Tarik Skubal, I'm still scared because this team is just beating up on everybody.
Yeah, Skeens the other night, it was 4 earned runs. He looked very pedestrian against the Brewers, who are like 28-4 or something over their last month and a half. It's laughable. My dad always talked
8 games up on the Cubs right now, dude. 8 games up on the Cubs for second place. And real quick, if you have Isaac Collins this weekend and you can take him out, he's on paternity leave, so do that.
Oh, okay. That is a good tidbit. My dad always talks about a Detroit Tigers team from the 80s. I think it's the 84 Detroit Tigers. They started like 45-5. and then played about 500 ball the rest of the way. But those hot streaks can really just cement your season, even if it is just 30, 40 games. Even if the Brewers come back down to earth, I think they've pretty much wrapped up the Central there in the National League. Let's get to the 3 up and 3 down. Did not expect this name on the list, but Eduardo Rodriguez picked up the W after tossing 7 innings of 1-run ball with 6 strikeouts. It was the Rockies, but still good stuff from Eduardo Rodriguez. Bryce Elder, blast from the past year, having a good start as well. 7 innings, picking up the W, allowing just 2 earned runs on 5 hits against the Metropolitans. And Lourdes Gurriel went 1 for 4, but that one was a 3-run homer. He drew a free pass, and he also stole a base. Bubba, anything on Erod, Elder, or Gurriel?
Erod's had his moments this year. I won't deny that, but it also shows how bad the Rockies are. I will never trust Bryce Elder, so kudos to him. And Lourdes Gurriel's having a horrible season, so it's good to see him get a little love there off of Mookie Blalock in Colorado.
Yeah, with him, he's always, for me, been like a cheaper Brian Reynolds. He's going to be a consistent 20 homers, 280 batting average. Not going to hurt you, but they both hurt you this year. From where you drafted them. Reynolds, I mean, he's been in and out, but overall, kind of disappointing from the both of them. Blalock in Colorado, this has gotten real ugly. It was already pretty ugly, but 7 earned runs while walking 4 and allowing 6 hits over 3 2/3 against the aforementioned Diamondbacks. That's awful. Like the whole Rockies rotation. I don't know how these guys, like, what does the pitching coach even say at this point? Like, do your best, champ. Like, I don't even know, but it's a tough job, tough gig.
For a team that tries to save so much money, I'm surprised they pay a pitching coach.
That's pretty fair, honestly. Maybe they just watch a couple of YouTube videos, take a look at some fan graphs. Take a look at some
bring
fan
Tom Amansky videos from 1984 with Fred McGriff and figure it out.
Oh, man. This one was a surprising one to see on the downs, but, it had to happen eventually. Edward Cabrera did have a rare bad start. 5 earned runs on 7 hits and 3 walks, over 5 1/3 against the Guardians. And Ryan Helsley copped up the Mets' 8th inning lead, allowing 2 earned runs and taking the loss. A real loss for fantasy managers with Ryan Helsley. If you hadn't dropped him before, you definitely should be doing so now. Let's talk some injuries. Ronald Acuna Jr. expected to return from his calf strain over the weekend. Any expectation here, Bubba? Like, do you think we're going to see him back to classic Acuna, or are they going to kind of take it easy? Because the Braves don't really have any reason to risk anything here. They are 15 games below 500, not playing for anything. Do you think they take it easy with Acuna and like play him on a part-time basis, or do you think it just wheels up? He's back. He's going to be good to go.
I think he's good to go because first when he got hurt, I'm like, why rush him back? You have nothing to play for. They rushed him back. He's all excited. He posted something on his Instagram earlier this morning about it was a crow unlocking the pin from a grenade. Like he's back, ready to go. So I don't know. It's like, it was weird, but it's basically means he's ready to go. So I think if he's playing, it's all systems go. I'm just very nervous about it because we need Ronald Acuna in our lives, and I don't like how these injuries keep getting occurring with him.
He's posting like a wide receiver now. This is going to be interesting. Is he a first-round pick for you as of right now for next year, or do the injuries scare you off?
Injuries scare me. Like, he deserves to be a first-round pick. I'm very cautious with my drafting, and I will probably go somewhere else. But we always know a healthy Acuna is probably one of the best players in baseball.
Yeah, I think for me as like a volume guy, although I'll probably cut down a little bit next year, there'll be like 1 or 2 times where I see Acuna there, and it's like he's fallen to the back of the second. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do it. I wouldn't recommend that for everybody, but I feel like if you're playing in a bunch of leagues, 1 or 2 shares of Acuna probably doesn't hurt. This one does hurt, though. Michael King placed on the IL. It's like the Abe Simpson, Grandpa Simpson meme, right back on it with left knee inflammation. Not good for Michael King. But on the other side, Aaron Nola will be activated by the Phillies for his start on Sunday against the Nationals. And the team, like I mentioned earlier, is going to opt to go with a 6-man rotation for the time being. I've been stashing Nola in the Bubba and the Bloom auction championship, which is my best team this year, probably. I got a chance to win that league, but I don't know if Aaron Nola is going to really help me along the way. Do you expect much from Aaron Nola over the last couple months?
With good in rehab, we know the roller coaster that is Aaron Nola, so you'll probably get a few good ones, probably get a few rough ones. Hopefully you play them accordingly.
So are you picking and choosing your spots with him then? Like a Nationals, I think we all agree he's going in there against the Nationals, but let's say it's a, 12th or 13th ranked offense type of deal, middle of the pack. Would you be opposed to sitting him?
I would never be opposed to sitting Aaron Nola in a 15-team league as the one you're discussing with the Bubba and the Bloom league. You're probably playing him about 80% of the time, at least. That's the deal. So, yeah, you're committed, especially if you held him this long. Like you're rolling. So, you're starting Aaron Nola.
He was a fab pickup for me in that league because somebody else dropped him, and I was like, "Ooh, okay." But we've also got Zach Gallen on that team, Shane McClanahan, who will be hitting the waiver wire this weekend, who I've been stupidly sitting on. So we gotta work some things out with the pitching on that squad for sure.
There you go.
Jacob Wilson, some good news. Will begin the rehab assignment on Saturday. This one kind of surprises me because he fractured his forearm not all that long ago, and he's already going to be starting a rehab assignment. I've dropped him where I have him in non-IL leagues. Just don't think there's really going to be a ton there rest of season. Bubba, what do you think from Jacob Wilson? Any interest rest of season?
Not really. Like, he's had a heck of a year. He still might come back and hit for average. The power was already felt flukish. With that kind of injury, I'm concerned. Like, maybe he figures it out. I'm not saying he won't. Like, the dude's really, really good, it looks like. But I'm not overly optimistic for the last few weeks.
Yeah, the power is always the big question. Coming back from a fractured forearm, he might not hit another home run. He might have not hit another home run even without the forearm. So this is something that I think for the most part, unless you really need batting average, you can probably avoid Jacob Wilson. Dylan Cruz, this one, he's finally back. I think most of us had kind of forgotten about Dylan Cruz, but he was officially activated by the Nationals. Went 1 for 3 in his return with a stolen base, and did bat second in the order. He's like 50% rostered on Yahoo. I would imagine that some people in the online championship, like 12-team leagues on the NFBC, have dropped him at this point. I just can't imagine somebody's been holding on the entire year. Maybe some people have. But if you see him sitting out there anywhere, Bubba, is Dylan Cruz worth a pickup, especially if he needs steals?
If he needs steals, definitely in play there. He's probably better than Jacob Marte, to be totally honest with you. So I think he's more of a consistent power guy than Jacob Marte. I don't know what to expect the rest of the way because he hasn't really fully hit the stride we wanted with Dylan Cruz, and then the injury derailed a lot of that. But if you want speed, like you said, he proved it on Thursday night right out the gate. He's going to run wild with that Nats team.
Yeah, I think I agree. And also the fact that it's been a little bit of time, and sometimes with these young guys, he's seen Major League pitching. He's had time now to look at all the iPads and all the tape and everything. Maybe he's made a couple of adjustments, and he can come back looking a little bit better than he did at the beginning of the season. Paul Goldschmidt dealing with a low-grade knee sprain, but hopes to avoid the IL. And honestly, I don't even know why I included this last one, but I just felt like he was worth mentioning because I don't think we've mentioned him on the show even once this year. Chris Bryant will not play again in 2025, and I wonder if he'll ever play again, Bubba. Do you think he ever sets foot on a major league field again?
He'll try to, because as lame as this sounds, he's a competitor, but he shouldn't. I'm just going to if anybody's listened to my shows, I have been one of the most anti-Chris Bryant guys for about 5 or 6 years now, at least. So yeah, he needs to just stay away. He's had great career. Kudos. You made a ton of money on a Rockies team that doesn't know how to spend it, but just call it a day, buddy.
You got the MVP. You brought the Cubs back from the grave with that World Series. I believe that was the same year. Just hang him up. Go sit on the rocking porch. Take Justin Verlander with you, and just
yes, please. Good Lord. Yes, take Verlander. Take Bob Melvin too. Don't get me started. Sorry. Where are we?
Verlander, Carrasco, maybe Nate Lowe. It's going to be a big party on the porch sipping lemonades. Let's take a couple of questions before we get to the bets. Drop Williams. I assume Devin for Will Vest. I think so. Yeah, I think I would.
Yep, I'm a huge Devin Williams guy, but he ain't closing in Will Vest. It's going to be annoying with AJ Hinch and Kyle Finnegan's party, but yes, Will Vest is a better option.
AJ Hinch hates us in a similar way to how Rocco Baldelli hates us. He doesn't care about fantasy baseball even a little bit. Finnegan today, Vest tomorrow, a third guy the third day after. You just never really know what you're going to get. Would you drop Beck for Marcy? I would. I would drop Jordan Beck for Jacob Marcy right now. He is absolutely on fire. Bubba, you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Like Beck's, you'll want to stream him in Coors, but if you want long term, you want Marcy.
Yeah. And Game Over also asking Becker Doyle next year. For me, I think it's going to be Brenton Doyle. But Jordan Beck has also had a really solid year and will probably be a decent mid to late round pick next year, I would imagine. But it's Brenton Doyle for me.
Yep, I agree with all that. It's Doyle for me, but Beck will have a little bit of appeal come draft day for sure.
Yes. One more. Reynolds or Luis Robert Jr. rest of season. Man. Reynolds, I think. I'd go Reynolds.
It's Lou Bob for me. Lou Bob's actually hitting over 300. He's got power. He's got speed, and that White Sox offense is not a walk in the park anymore. So, yeah, I'll take Lou Bob.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, maybe I'll change my answer to Lou Bob. Although I don't really feel too strongly about it. But let's get to some things I do feel strongly about, and those are the best bets of the day. Bubba, let's start with you today. What do you have for the people on this fine Friday on the betting markets? I love Roman Anthony so much, and I hate that he's going to be playing for a division rival for the next 10 to 12 years or whatever it's going to be. It's definitely annoying, but he is a fantastic player. The other night we were talking about him, and he had 4 walks, like stolen base. Like, he does everything. He really does everything. What do you think he goes next year? I feel like he's a 4th or 5th round pick.
Yeah, he's 4th or 5th. I could see another strong finish to the year. He's creeping up into, like, he's better. He should be going higher than Michael Harris used to go. Let's put it that way. Like, basically, I think what we saw with the Jackson Churio bump last year into round 2, Anthony's not far behind that.
Man, I could see it. Yeah. If Anthony finishes
the hype's real with him. The hype's real with him.
Yes. Dude. If he has a Wyatt Langford type of September and hits 7 homers and steals 7 bases, forget about it. That price is going to be unbelievable. Let's talk about some of my bets. To no surprise, Jacob deGrom is among them, but there's a reason for it. I'm not just blindly taking Jacob deGrom here. Over 5.5 strikeouts at plus money. He has been hitting this number consistently, even with his struggles over the last few starts. 8, 5, 8, 9, and 8 are his last 5 games. Facing the Toronto Blue Jays, this one might be a little bit tricky, but I do think he is able to get over 5.5, and I think it's worth taking the shot at plus 120. D-backs Rockies first 5 over 6.5 runs. This one comes down to the pitchers. Brandon Pfaadt, who, man, I was wrong about Brandon Pfaadt. I thought he was going to have kind of a breakout year. He has not even close. Not even been close to a breakout year. He's been awful. And on the other side, Tanner Gordon says, hold my beer, with his 8.37 ERA and 189 whip for the season. Yes, those are real numbers. Those are not typos. He is awful, and I think the over 6.5 here at plus money is the way to go. Even if you're taking the full game over, if you want to shop for a better line, I'm totally fine on either side of that one. And then Luis Gil, over 5.5 strikeouts. Didn't have the greatest couple of starts, off of his rehab, but he did have 7 strikeouts in his most recent start against the Astros. Actually, it was pretty solid. The second one was solid. The first one was kind of shaky, but building off of that 7 strikeout game and getting him again over 5.5 strikeouts at plus 162. Really good line, even against a Cardinals team that does not strike out a ton. I'm really liking this one today. Let's take a look at the home run board and see if we've had any movement. Positive Grouch at 51 at the top. Whips at 49. George, 47. Bees at 46. And the Fisher King at 45. That will round out the top 5 for us. It's been a rough year for me on the home run board, and I will not be on this sheet. Shout out to Wonky Penguin as well, by the way, who has been in the chat at 12th with 39 homers. Bubba, where are you going for your home run call today? I don't think we're going to see you on the board either this year, but where are you at today, my friend?
Yeah, I always forget to put my picks in early in the season, so it's kind of a lost cause to get on the board at any point in time. But I'm going Corbin Carroll. I'll back up my hits, runs, and RBIs. I like your pick as well. We'll be in the same ballpark, but give me Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, I mentioned Tanner Gordon earlier. He has hilariously bad numbers, and Ketel Marte will be my home run pick for today. And that will be it for the week, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a lot of fun here with Bubba, as it always is. We're going to be back again on Monday. Myself and Mr. Welsh will be leading you through the weekend update. This isn't Saturday Night Live, but we'll be talking about the weekend and everything that took place. But until then, everybody, take care. Have yourselves a great day. We'll see you again next time right here on the Fantasy Pros Baseball Podcast. Oh, Bubba, it's always a great time, my friend.
Yes, indeed. Always a great time. Good stuff for the huge.
Oh, man. Leave your comments on the YouTube video. Get yourself that Billy Wagner jersey, everybody. Get it done. Couple weeks.